What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Inside Story with Damian Porter. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. And this story takes us once again to the Los Angeles County Jail, where I have mentioned on many occasions. It is extremely volatile. Plenty of pandemonium, violence, hatred, gang infested. And if you violate rules there in the Los Angeles County Jail, you can be stabbed, beaten, and even unalive. It is complete chaos 9 times out of 10. And here, a SouthSider named Gunner was in the Los Angeles County Jail. This was his name, Gunner. A chubby dude, full of tattoos, bald head, from a big SouthSider gang. Gunner had plenty of respect there in the Los Angeles County Jail. All of his people looked up to him. They admired him. They respected him at first. Gunner found the way to make some money there in the Los Angeles County Jail. Him and his girl began to do burnout phones. Now, back then in the Los Angeles County Jail, and this was in 2013, so it wasn't even that long ago, the phones were a very big thing. Everybody wanted to call home, and if you didn't have money to get phone time, it was a problem. So people in the Los Angeles County Jail, found out ways to get burnout phones there in the Los Angeles County Jail. Not cellular phones, but would get a phone in someone else's name with their information, and you can call through from the Los Angeles County Jail. You can call home. The people who came up with this would charge $50, $60 or so, and the burnout phone would last for a couple of weeks or so. Now, this was huge. This was very important, monumental for a lot of people there in the county jail who wants to call home, who wants to speak with their attorney, speak with their witnesses, their loved ones. People are in here fighting cases. So communication is big. So Gunner began to make a lot of money with these burnout phones. Everybody's purchasing them. I purchased a couple of them from them. But then word started to come down that Gunner had some unsavory business going on with these burnout phones, because he always needed the phone number. Anyone needs the phone number to connect the burnout phone, the number that he's connecting the burnout phone to. So if I'm getting a phone for my girl, let's say, I would have to give him my girl's number so he can connect the phone. And so everybody's there giving Gunner their girlfriends, their wife's phone numbers to connect the phone. Come to find out, Gunner is calling these women behind these men's back and, dirty macking them, telling the women that you should be with me and not with him, that he's no good, putting false charges on people, saying that he's arrested in here for such and such sort of crime, and he's not. These women don't know any better, and all of this is starting to come out. I was next door to a SouthSider in the hole who was running some of this down to me. I'd already heard about it though. But Gunner had called his girl, and not only did he call her, he had convinced her that this dude was no good and that she should be with him, Gunner. This dude was steaming, as he's telling me that he's talking to his girl, and she told him that dude called and was saying at first that he had been cheating on her, that he had other women coming to see him. This is what Gunner is telling this man's girl. None of this is true. Then he tells her that he's incarcerated for a crime that he is not incarcerated for, and that when he gets to prison, he's going to be done with. So you may as well come get with me. I'm the main man up in here. I'm that guy. And she fell for it. Now, this emboldened Gunner to continue with these dastardly ways, telling women that he's just supposed to be connecting the phones to, that they should be with him and not with the man that they're with. He's doing this to all SouthSiders. Some blacks are getting phones from him as well. But he has not had the gall to do this with a black woman or with a black dude. He's keeping it within his own people. Now, as we all know, the SouthSiders have a hierarchy. They really cannot just go off on their own and deal with someone or with a situation, even if they've taken umbrage to the situation or to that particular person. If they are upset, feel disrespected, they still have to get permission to take care of business against one of their own. If they do not, if they go off on their own and say, man, fuck, this dude just disrespected me, I'm finna stab him up, they will get stabbed up. That's a tough pill to swallow, to not to be able to take care of your business when someone disrespects you. Now, some SouthSiders have been known to transgress against this. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen them fight one another without permission, just got mad in a cell and it went up. Because men are men at the end of the day. And though the SouthSiders respect the protocol and the hierarchy, they are still men. And if they feel disrespected or take umbrage to someone's antics, they can very well go off the deep end. But in this situation, everyone is remaining calm and just sending word to the powers that be that Gunner is out of line and out of pocket, and he needs to be dealt with. That he's disrespecting us by contacting our women and trying to lure them to his side. On one occasion, Gunner was inside of the cell, just what I was just talking about. And his cellie had given him the information to hook up a phone. And when his cellie left out of the cell and went to court, the day room, wherever he went, Gunner is in the cell calling his girl while he's not in the cell, telling her that she needs to be with him. How can someone have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to call your girl and your cellies? Well, as I said before, he was emboldened from the prior situation where he had talked to the girl, the SouthSiders girl, and won her over to his position. He's not believing that this is going to get back to his cellie. He's thinking, I'm finna crack his girl. She's finna come with me now. And he's not going to know anything. That was a grave miscalculation because the SouthSiders girl, well, she was loyal and dedicated, at least in that sense. She wasn't about to hook up with another jailhouse dude. She gonna upgrade, if anything. So she indeed told her boyfriend what had happened. And when he got in the cell, him and Gunner, they squabbled up. He rushed Gunner, and there was a fight, but that wasn't going to suffice. That was not going to be enough for Gunner's indiscretions. He had went too far and contacted at least 7 to 8 SouthSiders girls. At least, at minimum. 7 to 8 different people told me alone that he had pulled this same trick on them. But again, how come no one has attacked him with a weapon? Because they need permission. They need an okay. And they sought that permission. They sought that okay from the hierarchy. They explained the situation, and they explained that Gunner had went too far. That Gunner had been doing too damn much and needed to go. The hierarchy eventually agreed. They said that he was showing disloyalty and betrayal to his own people. Everyone is in here struggling, trying to make it out. These women are hanging on by a thread. They're not loyal. Barely. You'll find one in a million that's going to stick with you through a prison stint and stay loyal, stay chaste, pure, not defiled. Good luck. but there is the one now and then. And when we find a woman who is there for us, trying to be there for us in that situation, and we're struggling for our lives there in the Los Angeles County Jail and prison, we don't want someone who's also in jail. You're not Oprah. You're not Bill Gates. You're just another dude in jail with me. Why she want you instead of me? We both in jail. And why would you try to take my girl when I'm in here fighting for my life, fighting a life sentence, and I need her? Go find another girl. So it was just disrespectful on every level, and no one appreciated it. No one did. And the call had been made that Gunner had went too damn far, and it was time to teach him a lesson about loyalty and respect. The number one rule. After the call came down, it didn't take long. A day or so later, the plan had been put into place. Gunner Selly would immobilize him and have the others rush into the cell and finish the job. At dinner time, some SouthSiders were coming down with the dinner crates. And they told the CO or the deputies to pop the cell that Gunner was in. Gunner recognized all of the SouthSiders in front of his cell as being the victims of his unsavory, immoral deeds. He knew that they were at the door for a particular reason, because he knew that he had betrayed all of them. I'm sure it was by design and not by mistake that the SouthSiders who were charged with doing the job on Gunner were the same ones that Gunner had betrayed. Apparently, the hierarchy had said, yes, he needs to go, and y'all can be the ones to do it, since I know it's personal with y'all, since he tried to holler at y'all's girl. And so, when they were standing there in front of the cell telling the police to hit the cell, Gunner acted like he was going to reach for his weapon before they entered the cell, figuring, damn all the rules about stabbing someone without permission and all that. I have to protect myself at this point because they coming here to get me. But when he went to reach for his weapon, his celly, who had been charged with immobilizing him, did just that. Hit him from the back with his weapon, hit him right in the neck area. And the SouthSiders rushed in. Gunner hit the ground, and they stomped him and stabbed him multiple times. They kicked his teeth out his mouth. It was brutal. It was bloody and not for the weak of stomach. They smashed his head in the sink. Spit on him. Stabbed him about the face and the neck area. Gunner was screaming at first, until you couldn't hear any more screams. He was in there knocked, unconscious, and a bloody mess. His whole life flashing before him, saying to himself, I made a very bad mistake. A miscalculation of sorts that's about to cost me my very life. He lay there on the ground bleeding, and the SouthSiders exited the cell and continued on passing out the dinner trays as if nothing had ever happened. A prevalent occurrence there in the Los Angeles County Jail. Eventually, when the police came down to do one of their security walks, they saw Gunner lying there in the cell, a bloody mess, unconscious, alone. They sent for medical help, and they came and took Gunner out on a stretcher, had the oxygen mask on his face, trying to resuscitate him and bring him back to life. They were successful. Gunner was in the hospital for some time, from our understanding. And then he was released from the hospital on to protective custody. And that's what happened with Gunner there in the Los Angeles County Jail. And this was on the 2000th floor. And this was from him betraying his people, hollering at people's girls. He's not the first one to do this. Others have done this. So many have done this. They try to crack your girl, bro. They try to holler at your girl. They'll watch you dial your girl's phone number, and then they'll turn around and call her. They're desperate, lonely. Some of them don't have women in a county jail or in prison. They don't know how to get a woman. And so they'll go after yours. It's immoral and dangerous. Just learn how to talk to women and get your own. I've never had that problem. I've never needed another man's girl. I go get my own. Like it's nothing. What do you mean? They're everywhere. Find you one. I don't even want another man's girl. That's nasty. I know you sleeping with this man every night, then you gonna come sleep with me. That's nasty. I don't want to touch you. You mine and all mine, or no deal. But these dudes have no ethics, no tenets that they apply to their everyday life. They transgress and flout the rules and the protocols. And it cost him. Gunner was lucky. He was fortunate to survive. No one thought that he was going to make it, because he was stabbed at least 20 times. At least. Stumped out, head smashed into the sink. Shit cracked open, bro. Leaking. He was out. He was done. No one thought he could come back from that. But somehow he did survive it. But certainly the scars, outer and inner, will live with him forever after being brutalized like that. That's trauma on your heart, mind, and soul for the rest of your life. And all because your fat ass couldn't go find your own woman. Do better. I'll be back. And in the meantime, go up movement. Stay free, people.